Hello everybody, I am recording another part in unit 3 that is Japanese art in the ancient period. So I am going to record both of PowerPoints. So let's see, there are 20 slides and then this is the ancient period. So let me go into the line. So the first one is Japanese period is the prehistoric period are three: Jõmon, Yayoi, Kofun. And then ancient period, three names: Asuka, Nara, Heian. Japanese history, somehow there are a lot of names for periods. So Jõmon period is equivalent to the Neolithic period of Korean art. Just like a Korean ancient art, Korean historic period, you have vessel. But in Japanese case, instead of that cone patterned jar and pointed bottom, they have cold marked earthenware. So the surface, you have certain surface textures, right? But these are not incised lines with a tool. It's not drawn. These are actually, let's say you have a piece of cloth, not cloth, like a cord is more like a long cord. Imagine that you have a rope. The rope has some patterns, right? Because it's woven with straws or some arcs or plant strings. So anyhow, there's some woven residues or pattern, and you are going to roll it over so that you have these type of patterns. That's the difference. And then here they call it flameware because the openings of the vessels look somehow like this tulip-shaped open shape. So we call it flameware. And then during the Neolithic period of Jõmon period, they had other models called dogu. Dogu is a name of clay figurine. If you know the Chinese characters, dogu literally means clay doll or clay figurine. Anyhow, this is a female figurine with a surface decoration. And then perhaps a lot of these surface decoration is also created by woven textiles or how do you know this is a woman? Well, a lot of my students say it has the symbols of protruding breast and then waist, narrow waist. These are all signs of women's, maybe more like fertility goddess type of figurines, like deities. In Japanese history, Yayoi period is equivalent to Bronze Age. If you see the dates, these are Bronze Age. And then they were living again by the shore, but then they also created some metal tools. And then toward the end of Yayoi period, you have both Bronze and Iron period. And especially in Kyushu, you have funerary sites, like archaeological tombs, and you end up excavating a lot of objects given by people in Korean Peninsula. So you can see these objects excavated from tombs as diplomatic gifts from Baekje or from Three Kingdoms. And then Japanese people received the bronze mirror and they used as a symbol of Amaterasu, the highest sun goddess of Japan. And then, but in order to have a diplomatic gift, you have to give something back, right? Like Japan should also give something so that they can receive this metal work from Korean Peninsula. So what did they give? They gave this shape of jade. It's called Magatama. So I talked a little bit about the Shinto shrine in historical overview, so I'm going to skip this. And then Kofun period, so that's the next period equivalent to Three Kingdoms period in Korea. Kofun period, still they didn't have a script. So that's why it's part of a prehistoric period. And it lasted until 710, meaning 8th century. So why is it called Kofun? These are age of old mounds, old tombs. So in some areas, like a Hyogo Prefecture, you end up seeing a lot of tombs, like these kind of tombs. They are colossal in size. So in the middle of the busy streets, you end up having these large colossal tombs. What does it tell us? There were some strong families and rulers, so that they were able to mobilize citizens and residents in order to construct these colossal tombs. And for and to commemorate their power after they died, you can see this type of key-shaped mounds. The largest one, we know the emperor was Shinto. So official history was written in the 8th century, and then there you are going to see names of these emperors. And then during the Kofun period, you used to install certain figures around the tombs, again to emphasize their command, right? So there are figures called Haniwa. Haniwa means clay figurines or clay cylinder. So wa means more like a cylinder. So you create this kind of clay tube. These are all hollow inside, and then create miniature figures. So obviously you need a lot of warriors, and then you have musicians, dancers. Sometimes you create animals and other things. And how do you use them? You install them around the tombs. So Haniwa is very important. Haniwa is a special type of pottery. Haniwa literally means clay cylinder or clay circle, and those were made for colossal tombs. Ordinary citizens may have like a smaller Haniwa, like a house or something little very small, but in that Kofun, like a colossal tombs, you are going to see hundreds of them buried together. They are also made of clay and baked at a low temperature. Now, Japan is moving into their historical period, and that's called Asuka period. And then subsequently it comes Nara period. And then if we go to the Middle Ages, it will be Heian period. So all these names are the names of their capitals. So now Asuka and Nara are finally ancient kingdom because they received the Buddhism from Tibet, and then they maintained a little bit more regular cultural exchange Korean Peninsula and of China. And why did they want to receive Buddhism and make a national religion? Because along the Buddhism, they also received advanced Chinese civilization, such as measuring system, administrative system, or legal system, or other types of cultural elements. That's why Japanese people were very eager to be part of this Buddhist world, the International Buddhist Association. So Asuka period, the most important monument is Horyuji Temple. Horyuji Temple is very important. It's founded by the patronage of Emperor Shotoku. And then Emperor Shotoku, Prince Shotoku, he died before he became an emperor. And then here there are records of 46 temples, 180 monks, 60 monks, a lot of information. And Prince Shotoku also wanted to renovate the governmental system. Instead of focusing on a few important families, aristocratic families, Prince Shotoku wanted to create an emperor-centered powerful kingdom. So you see Shotoku as part of their currency of 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000, and it's pretty large. The Horyoji Temple, very important ancient temple of Japan. It's composed of 3 elements: Jõmon, then you have a pagoda, and then you have a golden hall. And right behind the golden hall, you have a lecture hall, so it's on the single axis. But one thing interesting about the Horyoji Temple is this temple, the golden hall, and then pagoda are not on the same axis. They are actually like this, on the same angle, and then right behind it you have the lecture hall. Originally it was not like this, but when they moved to this particular site, they somehow used this structure of pagoda and then the golden hall side to side. Inside the golden hall, you have a Shakyamuni triad made of bronze. And this one reflects that 5th century Chinese style very well. And then, do you remember this? The meditative bodhisattva. In Japan, they have almost identical shape of Maitreya bodhisattva, but the one in Japan is made of red pine. And then they are dated to 603. But remarkably same in terms of iconography, right? So you can see ongoing cultural exchange between Baekje and Japan. And this one we've seen, right? The Korean Maitreya. And this one also is very similar to Chugoji Temple's Maitreya. But in Japan, these statues are made of wood. In Korea, both statues are made of